I'm going to tell you the 7 lessons I learned from my 3 career changes. If you're curious what those career changes are, watch to the very end and I will reveal those changes. But for now, I want to share the lessons that I learned that will help you to prepare for a career change in your 30s, 40s, and beyond. Let's dive in. Lesson number 1. Is it too late? Well, obviously it's not too late. I'm in my 40s, nearly 42 to be precise. While it's never too late to start afresh, the longer you wait and the more drastic career change you're taking, the bigger the pay cut you should expect. This pay cut depends on how much risk the employer will be taking in taking you on as a career changer. Clearly, this will take time and money and resources to train you up until you're actually ready to give value back to the company. Similarly, if you're changing from an employed role to a self-employed role, for example, you're starting a new business, you're likely to take a pay cut anyway because you will need to upskill and you will need to build up your clientele. Lesson number 2. Lesson number 2 is about being proactive. No one is out there looking for you in the new field that you're looking to move into without the right experience or qualifications. Trust me, I used to be a headhunter. Career changes are unlikely to be of interest to headhunters and recruiters because they simply cannot sell you to their clients. Do your homework and approach the decision makers. This way you may actually make opportunities happen for yourself.
Did you do your homework?
In my next video, I will teach you how to do this homework. Lesson number 3. Do I need a qualification? You may not necessarily need a qualification or even experience as long as you have and can demonstrate enthusiasm. When a potential employer can see that your eyes light up with excitement about this new journey that you are about to take, then they may give you a chance and may even support you through a new qualification. But you do need to do that homework. You need to research the industry and the company and potential roles to be able to be convincing and explain clearly why you're going into this. But the main point for this lesson is to be sure for yourself that this is exciting for you. Qualifications and experience will come, and it doesn't have to be the most perfect next job at this stage. Lesson number 4, this story. You'd better have a really cool story about why you're changing careers. Just saying that you don't like it anymore in your previous job or your previous company is just not good enough. Make it personal, relatable, and believable. People will be curious to know your story, especially if you're making a drastic career change like leaving clinical practice.
Why do you want to leave? What's changed?
I suggest having 3 positive reasons for a career change for every negative reason that you are mentioning. Be clear about what makes you unique and why they should have you on the team despite your relative inexperience or even lack of qualifications. I'll teach you more how to do this in my upcoming videos. Lesson number 5. Big company versus small company. In my experience of changing careers 3 times, I have found that in general, smaller companies are more open to career changers than bigger companies. There is less competition if you're approaching and dealing with smaller companies compared to bigger companies. There is less corporate governance that is involved in the recruitment process, which can be a challenge with larger companies and corporations. Smaller companies may actually create a position for you that a bigger company might not, because in large organizations they have a particular process for hiring where they have to create a position, they have to advertise it internally, and they have to get internal candidates to apply before they even put it out to the market. And then of course you will be competing with hundreds of properly qualified candidates if you're applying for an advertised role in a large organization. With a small organization, I have found it's possible to build a more personal connection, let's say with the founder or with one of the key decision makers, and they can actually have that authority to make a decision to create a position for you. Smaller companies may be okay with you not having a qualification and may be able to support you by mentoring and by sponsoring your qualification. However, you may need to be prepared to wear multiple hats from day one. Larger companies may have more resources and a more structured process for training you as a career changer. So there are pros and cons. With larger organizations, there may be 2 advantages compared to smaller organizations if you're coming in as a career changer. For a CV, a big brand as a start of a new career may look advantageous. Also, larger organizations may have the resources to pay you a higher salary than a smaller organization But overall, I would say that it is more likely that your next step as a career changer is more likely to be within a smaller company than a larger company. But we can explore this question in my future videos, so please share below in the comments your thoughts about small versus large company as a career changer. Lesson number 6. Will recruiters help me to change careers? I love this question. I used to be a recruiter myself, and I have to disappoint you. Unfortunately, neither headhunters nor recruiters can help you with a career change as such, and this is because it's difficult for them to sell you with a lack of experience and qualifications to their clients. However, you can look at recruiters and headhunters as a valuable resource for your research and homework that I mentioned earlier when it comes to learning about career progression in a particular field and also salaries. I will teach you more in my subsequent videos how to deal with recruiters and how to get them to help you. No matter how little that help could be, it will be invaluable to have greater insights about the new industry. Lesson number 7 is about time frames. Career change is not a quick sprint. It's more like a long race. Just to give you an example, when I was moving from a full-time coaching career where I had built up my coaching practice, but I wanted to go into executive search, it took me 2 to 3 months just to research the industry of executive search and to map out the companies and decision makers whom I could then approach for initial conversations. Then it took me several weeks to reach out to them and to have different exchanges, whether that's by email or quick chats, before we moved on to the stage of interviews. Oftentimes, when you are changing careers and therefore you don't have a proven experience in that particular industry, even if the decision maker really wants you to be on board, they will have to get their colleagues to be on board as well. And therefore, you're more likely to have multiple stages of interviews or conversations, let's put it this way, before a decision is made to create an opportunity for you. For me, it took 4 to 5 months when I was moving into executive search for me to have a job offer. So overall, say I started in January, mapping out what executive search companies there are in the field of life sciences, but I didn't actually start a job until August that year. I had a similar time frame when I was changing from executive search to what I'm doing now. In any case, it's really important to not wait to find your passion before starting to do research and testing out waters. Otherwise, you will be forever waiting. Your next job doesn't have to be your life's work. It can be a stepping stone to your next career. If something is interesting for you and you're curious about it, get researching to see whether it could be a viable career change. In the next video, I will teach you how to do exactly that. I hope you have found these lessons helpful when thinking about career change. As promised, now I'm going to tell you what career changes I have gone through in the past few years. So I did my medical training at Cambridge University in the UK. I then worked as a junior doctor for 4 years in the National Health Service before starting my dermatology training. I left clinical practice 1 year into my dermatology training. We can talk about the reasons for that in another video. I then retrained as a coach and I built up my coaching practice over a few years, supporting doctors and other professionals through career changes. I also worked as a career advisor for a careers unit at Queen Mary University of London. In 2017, I discovered executive search, headhunting, working for the pharmaceutical sector as well as biotechnology, medical device companies, and other companies in the life sciences industry, essentially poaching senior executives from one pharmaceutical company to another to ensure that companies have the best leadership. So a few months ago, I left executive search and I'm now back to school again. I'm studying towards a diploma in regulated financial planning while also working as a paraplanner. More on this in other videos. Until then, bye bye!